control. In the second half of this event, I'm going to be talking to Bernard Sumner of Joy Division and New Order. I'm going to be talking to Stephen Morris next. Don't forget also Brandon Flowers from The Killers is going to talk to us about how Joy Division and Ian Curtis inspired him. There's a late addition to the programme. I don't know if you saw this. Mark Lanigan is going to be here. And Mark is with Wes Isold, and together they're going to do an exclusive cover version of Isolation. Codaline, Elbow, Lone Lady, all coming up. Don't forget you can donate. You're probably seeing stuff going along the screen. You can donate to United We Stream. United We Stream then distribute the money to various causes. And most of the money this evening is going to Manchester Mind. You can text music to 70140 to donate a £5. Okay, it's time to meet Stephen Morris. I spoke to him earlier. He was at home near Macclesfield. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Dave. You all right?
So you are in lockdown, and that is one of your rooms in your house, is it?
Yeah. This is me the office. This is.
And are those compact discs behind you?
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're all compact discs. Yeah, not the same ones. The discs don't necessarily match the boxes. That's a problem with the compact disc I found, and the cassette.
And are they in alphabetical order or anything? Oh, that's a job to be done during lockdown.
Mostly. These up here, the ones you can't see, they're all in alphabetical and numerical order.
And how are you coping with lockdown?
It's like living in a Philip K. Dick novel. Mm-hmm. It's very, very strange. I'm sure everybody finds it a bit odd. But
I think everyone would like to pass on our hello to Gillian. So if you don't mind doing that at some point next time you see her. So
Dave Haslam says hello.
So you and Ian were both teenagers in Macclesfield in the mid-70s, and in fact you attended the same school, but you didn't know each other. You didn't, as far as you know, drink in the same pubs or whatever at that time.
No. Although no, I didn't. You see, the thing is, Ian was a year older than me, and I kept out of the path of older people, suspecting they probably didn't like the same kind of music as me, which shows you how self-absorbed and arrogant I was as a child.
So when did your paths cross then, you and Ian's? How did it all come about?
I was walking past a music shop in Macclesfield, and there was an advert in the window which said "Drummer wanted for local new wave band Warsaw. Phone Ian," and they had a Mac phone number, and I just rang him up, said hello, I rang about the drummer job, and I was expecting to say, "Oh, it's gone, mate," but he said, "Oh no, you're the only one that's rang. Come round for tea time." And I just went round and said, "I've come about the drummer job," and he was a remarkably nice, charming lad. And then it's just "Did you used to go to King's School?" And he says, "Yeah." "Oh, did you get expelled?" Meaning me, of course. "Yeah." And so, "Oh yeah, I remember that."
Notorious.
I was notorious, yeah. I just thought it was amazing that I'd never met him before. Yeah. Because we were both into the same music. We've been to the same gigs. Never met. Odd.
So the first, you did a kind of, you attended a rehearsal, or which kind of was a half rehearsal, half audition.
Allegedly, it was an audition. In fact, I've never been told that I actually got the job with Joy Division, so maybe I didn't. Yeah, we just turned up at the Abraham Moss Centre in Crumpsall, little room, set up, started making a racket, and that was it. I've never looked back. I think partly the reason I got the job was because I had a car, and I could take Ian to and from rehearsal. So it was a Cortina that swung it, if anything, rather
I
than
reckon it's a 25-mile journey from Macclesfield to Crumpsall.
yeah, if you've got to go through it via strange ways, which we did for some odd reason, it's probably a little bit longer.
What was your first impression then of Bernard and Hooky? What were your impressions of them?
Well, Bernard turned up on a motorbike. He had a Honda at the time, and I thought, oh, it looks all right. Doesn't exactly look like a, smart. He's a smart lad. It doesn't look like a punk or anything like that. And then this other guy turned up in a Mark II Jag, which is like, Sweeney. It's your robbing car, and I thought this must be Hooky's dad, because he had a beard. Well, he's actually called. I didn't know Hooky's name at the time. I thought it was just called Peter, and it's not him. He's got a beard. At the time, beards were quite unpopular. Now they're everywhere, but I thought it's very unusual. Very unusual.
Did Bernard not have a moustache, or was that something that
no
later?
No, the tash had gone.
Right.
After that Kevin Cummins snap, gone.
And so what was your impression? And obviously you'd met Ian, having already met him in Macclesfield, but when you started rehearsing, when you were first involved then in, with the songs, I guess the big thing was actually out of rehearsals when you started performing, because up to that point you hadn't seen what he was like on stage, and and that was pretty out of the ordinary, really.
No, I mean, when we did the rehearsals, he was just sat on a chair, just bumbling into a microphone, and I was just thought, how's this going to work? It's not, it's not got much persona. And then we did the first gig with him at Eric's, and it was just like, whoa, where's this come from? He just transformed, just
like a whirling dervish in a way, but
yeah. It was just a bundle of energy, and it was like all over the place. And it's great. It's kind of because Hooky and Bernard didn't move very much at all, and it was just Ian did everything. It's brilliant.
I remember when I saw the band, back then, you didn't even really make eye contact with each other or anything. It was a kind of, it was impressive, whether it was, conscious or not, it was a kind of impressive dynamic, because it was as if you three didn't even acknowledge the existence of this character at the front.
Yeah.
There was no kind of winking and smiling, or
No, in Joy Division, we were all in our own little worlds, really. Like Bernard was on one side, he'd just shuffle about, and Hooky was on the other side, and I was just kind of watching Ian's back, hoping he didn't bump into me, and we didn't look at each other. We never looked at each other. We were just sort of obsessed with what we. Is obsessed the right word? I don't know. Just that engrossed, really, with what we were doing.
Immersed in the moment, really.
Yeah.
So being in a band, it's kind of a bit like being in a gang in a way. And there's a degree of camaraderie. And although we come to think of Ian as a kind of isolated person, I mean, he was fully involved in all that, as far as I know.
He was far from isolated, really. It's kind of an impression that people have picked up of him from sort of later on, when he got ill and things started going downhill. But we were a gang. That's sort of one of the reasons you got in a band, as you're a gang, and we're playing practical jokes on each other, he was just an ordinary guy, an ordinary lad from school. He was very, very clever. We liked the same books, and he would write he'd have notebooks full of words. I'd never written a song with anyone before, so it's kind of, I had no experience, but just when we started writing, he'd just start playing the riff, and he'd go into his Mac Fisheries bag, pull out a piece of paper, and just start singing. And it was
I get the impression that writing and being in a band was really what he wanted to do with his life. That was.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, yeah, everybody was starting a band, but he loved writing, like poetry. You know, he was into T.S. Eliot. You know, they read Burroughs. He was very, very literate and very creative. Right, I met his English teacher. You were there at that thing, yeah. Still, well, I didn't meet his English teacher, as you know, but he sent me a nice email saying how much, you know, how he thought Ian was very, very talented, even at school as a writer. And it, you know, it was, if he hadn't have done music, he'd have I don't know, written fiction, or something.
We kind of touched on it a minute ago, but there is a curious thing, because occasionally photographs resurface on the web of Ian at an office party with the you know, his colleagues in the Macclesfield employment exchange, you know, and he's a kind of handsome guy having fun at the office party, and then you compare them to the austere Kevin Cummins or Anton Corbijn or Penny Smith photographs, and you know, it's hard to reconcile the two. Were you kind of aware that there was this sense being created of the band in a way by that public image?
At the time, not really, because the Ian that I knew was the guy in the office photos. He was always smiling, and he was laughing and joking and stuff like that. And when people start taking your photograph for the NME, I thought they were going to somehow transform us into a rock band or something. So you'd open the NME and we'd kind of just fit in with all the other photographs. But I was very disappointed because we didn't. We just looked completely different. I mean, we weren't smiling because Kevin told us not to smile and to stop pissing about, and he'd only take a picture when we weren't pissing about. So we didn't take that many pictures, really. But yeah, those photographs that people think are Joy Division, are kind of, yes, they are, but there was a lot more to Ian than just frowning.
I mean, yeah, they're a version of you, I guess.
Yeah.
You all. So you mentioned earlier about, you know, before he got ill. So that side of him, which you've just talked about, I mean, I guess that began to disappear, not just through the epilepsy, but probably more through the medication, which was tranquil. Oh, that'll be Bernard. Yeah, the medication would be, you know, tranquilized him. I mean, it was barbiturates. It was kind of way over the top and not the kind of medication for.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was first of all that he always wanted to be in a band. It was we all did. We were really into it. And when I had his first fit and went to the doctors, it's kind of like, okay, well, the most important thing is to live a normal life. And it's kind of like, well, you know, don't be in a band, basically. So that was one thing. That was a bit of a blow. And then there was the treatment, which was kind of hit and miss anyway, which was just take these tablets and we'll see what happened. And if they work, you know, you'll be all right, but you might have to take some more. But the side effects were in a way worse than the epilepsy. They were just like completely sort of drained him in a way. I mean, it was the time, it was 40 years ago. And I'm sure nowadays it's there's much better drugs available than the ones that he was on. But they were very, very heavy medication he was taking. And that combined with trying to lead a normal life, just completely, it transformed him in a way, and he became less of himself.
And I guess also, you know, other factors in his life which might have been, pressures on him,
Mm.
probably wasn't able to process that because of that medication.
Well, there was the other thing as well, because we were all young, free and single, me, Mucky and Bernard, but Ian was married, and at the time we did Unknown Pleasures, he had his first child, so it's kind of like he's got those responsibilities that we didn't understand. We didn't even think about it, because you only say, oh, he's just one of the lads. But, he's a father, he's a husband, he's got to pay the bills, and he's got to take tablets. And he wants to be creative, and he can't be because it's getting stifled. It was horrible situation to be in, and we couldn't really appreciate it at the time because we didn't understand it. But the thing about Ian was he would always say what he thought you wanted to hear. So you would say to him, "Are you all right?" And he would say, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine." But he wasn't. But when you're young and foolish, just you take it at face value. Okay, he says he's all right, but he wasn't. He wasn't all right at all. And
I guess also, being young lads. I mean, you were 22, and also young kind of northern lads in that era. You weren't, people. You weren't sharing your emotion. People didn't do that, guys especially, and still they don't in some ways, and still we need to keep, encouraging young guys and lads of all ages, actually, to allow themselves to be vulnerable and to talk about this kind of stuff. It's important. But back then, I guess that wasn't happening.
No, I mean, it's the one thing that people from that time that I've talked to, they all say the same thing. You never, ever express your emotions. You never said what you were feeling. What we were feeling and what Ian was feeling, I think, came out in the music because you just couldn't talk about it. There was, if you said, I'm feeling depressed, I said, what's up with you? And it's ridiculous, really, that you couldn't talk to each other because, we shared everything else. We're in the band together, but it was just not on that you should talk about feelings. It was like macho men, and that's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. You should be able to wrong with you, because if you don't, it'll just fester inside you, and bad things will happen. It really will. You should really open up about stuff like that.
Has it taken you by surprise that 40 years later, I mean, Ian and the band are so revered, when at that time it was a struggle, even a few months, even after Unknown Pleasures, a struggle to get gigs. Nobody had any money. That 40 years later, the profile and the reverence and the influence of the band is so big. It must have been pretty mind-blowing.
Well, now, to think of it, it's ridiculous. You say to people, that we never really did many big gigs. Most of the Joy Division gigs were in pubs, or, we did the Buzzcocks tour, which was halls, but most of them were just, little gigs like the Pictures that just turned up at the Hope and Anchor. And we're lucky if there were 30 people there. We never played to very big crowds. The biggest gig we did, I think, was Futurama, which was absolutely massive, big festival in Leeds. And we hated it. It just felt so strange playing to a load of people on a massive stage.
Because I remember seeing you in, I think, August 79 in front of 75 people, and then May 1980 at what turned out to be the final gig at 300. And I thought, they're making progress.
Oh, yeah. So
ran up from 75 to 300 in the space of 8 months.
Yeah. 300 was good going. I mean, the thing that happened, that you could tell we were getting better, is when we started playing the Factory, there'd be a gulf. There'd be the front of the stage, and there'd just be this void before the first punter was lurking in in the darkness, and gradually that sort of disappeared, and they got filled in. But there was never more than a few hundred people there. But now, like if we went back to the factory now and did a gig there, you'd fill it, many times over. But sadly, it's
and
not
do you have any sense of why 40 years on that there is that massive difference between how the band's perceived?
Well, all there is with Joy Division is just the music, the songs. It's just the songs. That's all. We never. We just, a curtain came down, and that was it. We just left the records, and that's it. Apart from the photographs and the story, and it's that sort of myth thing draws people in. Yeah, but Joy Division are a band that you hear at your mate's house and you think, this is a good record. Yeah, I would like to find more about them. And you look at the pictures, because that's all there is. There's no video much. Well, it's a couple of videos. And you just invent. You get your own idea of what Joy Division are. And I think that's great, because that's how... I never saw the Velvet Underground. I made a point of not seeing it when they reformed, because I just had this idea of what the Velvet Underground were, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to be disappointed. And the great thing about Joy Division is it never got to disappoint you.
Well, it's fantastic to talk to you, Stephen, and obviously the legacy of the band and Ian is just magnificent. So thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us.
No, thank you. Thanks.
All right. See you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care.